This is a meeting of the Township Committee, September 3rd, 2013. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice that this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Star Ledger, the Independent, and the True River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 11, 2013. Committeeman Fiore.
Here.
Committeeman Sal.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Here.
Committeeman Senabrino.
Here.
Mayor Schaumburger.
Here.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our freedoms, constitutions, and way of life. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have Resolution 13-222, a resolution authorizing payment of bills for September 3rd, 2013.
Move for adoption?
Second. Committeeman Fiore?
Yes.
Committeeman Sal?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray?
Yes.
Committeeman Senabrino?
Yes.
Mayor Schaumburger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 13-222. At this time, we have Resolution 13-223, a resolution appointing Deputy Municipal Tax Assessor.
Move for adoption? Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Murray.
Yes.
Committeeman Senabrino.
Yes.
Mayor Schaumburger.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 13-223. For agenda items for September 16, 2013, called the proclamation declaring September 2013 as National Alcohol and Drug Addiction Recovery Month, and proclamation declaring September 2013 as Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. Of approval of minutes for July 1st, 2013 workshop and executive session, the July 15th, 2013 regular meeting and executive session, and the August 5th, 2013 workshop meeting and executive session. We'll have public hearing on proposed ordinances 2013-3095, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Middletown, County of Monmouth, amending Chapter 16 Planning and Development Regulations on signs. And ordinance 2013-3096, an ordinance amending recreation permit application process, fee schedule, and establishing user classifications. We'll also have an introduction of proposed ordinance for amendment to the fee schedule for Affordable Housing Administration. We'll have a consent agenda, including resolutions, bingo raffle applications, and volunteer firefighter applications. For discussion tonight, we begin with street vacation ordinance for Central Avenue.
It's just a street vacation, Central Avenue, adjacent to the site where Housing United Services is planning to construct a supportive housing unit on currently the township-owned property. The vacation, in this instance where there's two adjoining property owners who go down the middle of the street if they so want the property to become part of their property. Sometimes people turn it down if they raise the tax assessment and so forth. So we're sending a letter now to the planning office asking the other adjoining property owners whether they want half of the vacated right away and the other half to be adjoined to the township, merged into the township lot to use for Housing United Services.
Yeah, the lot that the street is a stub head end of the street, and the lots adjacent to it have frontage on another street, so it's not really required for access or anything.
The ordinance dissolving the swim club utility.
Yeah, just the bonds are paid off, so it can be dissolved.
And it repeals and reserves the
The
whole
chapter,
section of the
yeah.
ordinance that dealt with the utility, so it's not on the books anymore.
A resolution to cancel capital appropriation balance of project 2008-2950. Resolution authorizing release of maintenance bond for High Woods at Oak Hill. Resolution authorizing release of maintenance bond for Chapel Hill Orchard. Audio-visual technology bids for conference room. The bid date is September 5th, 2013. We have leaf collection bid results.
Again, it's that time of year again, start talking about leaf collection and expenses thereof. Remember we went out to bid last month? for leaf collections in various zones, actually for all zones. And I'm recommending the award to Bennett Property and Design Works for the 4 southern zones in the town, zones I, J, K, and L. Because doing so will allow us to get the leaves off the street within that 1 month window, and also will provide the most benefit to the town monetarily by doing so.
That's an improvement over the savings last year.
It is. It's getting better. You know, the last couple of years have been tricky because we had hurricanes both times, and brush collection and debris collection and everything else. So looking at the last couple of years, it's kind of hard to really get the numbers straight. But it's an increasing reward on doing this, and eventually, if necessary, there's other zones that we could probably contract out.
Bennett has done a pretty good job. I know he's buys over.
He does an excellent job.
You don't often get compliments,
No.
but Bennett, you get compliments on.
We do,
You know,
we do.
We hear them by name, so that's good.
So,
They're a Middletown company too. right?
Yep.
All of that.
like time resident. So this is just for your review. I'll have a recommendation to award the next meeting.
I think that your comments were F and H as reserved.
Well, you know, I'm not sure, I have to speak to the purchasing agent about that. Those are 2 zones that I'd like to be able to award, however, you don't want to over-award work, because then our guys won't have work to do. We're already paying for them, so we want to make sure that, we only get as much, have as much contractors as we need. So, whether that's reserve or not, I think it's just, it was kind of for my eyes to see what the savings is. I would like it if we do get into a jam because the leaves come down early or there's a problem and we need to bring them in. There's a way to do that for those zones. I'd like to do that too, because there is, again, significant savings there.
Okay. We have janitorial services bid for September 4th, 2013.
Those bids will be open tomorrow, and I know we discussed this in the past. And at the next meeting, I'll have a recommendation to either award or reject.
Was there a decent response?
Open it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't know.
I picked up I think three contractors picked up the bids, I think.
Okay.
2 or 3 at least.
We have resolution amending resolution 13-66 on snow plowing and a list of active vendors.
That's one of our snow plowing contractors went out of business. So we're looking to add one of the new contractors to the previously negotiated price list. So we don't want to get caught up next week.
These guys buy out the business.
They are, these are the purchasers of the local business, Jomac Construction, went out of
Their
business.
vehicles are all over the property
Right.
now, so.
So they're in Middletown, they took over the
Probably not,
business.
it's not so much of a change, but the same location, same company, just been bought out by the
Also, somebody different came into the facility.
Looks like they moved into that facility at this point.
And it's actually, Jomac was a construction company, but this is actually just a snow plowing company. That's pretty much all they do. They don't do construction, I'm not sure what they do in the summertime, but they
They don't plow snow.
don't plow snow. They move sand, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, we might be able to use them for that.
well, we do have a price for their equipment for all year round.
Okay, we have a resolution amending resolution 12-091 as to estimated and authorized expenditure for plumbing repair and maintenance. We have discussion on capital items.
We're going to actually carry this to the October meeting. This was part of actually item C. There are a few more ordinances that we're going to be looking to cancel, but some of them involve projects that we need to discuss, but we need to wait for the state folks to return for
Discussion, Sandy-related demolition bids.
So my question on that, Tony, is obviously the memo here that you provided, there's 7 single-family dwellings.
It's actually 6 now, by the way, since the
6.
memo, one came down by itself.
Single-family dwellings, owned by itself, that we're going to get bids for, and we get a 90% FEMA reimbursement. My question is, do we put liens on those property to recover the other 10%, or, you know, those properties are not going to be rebuilt, you know, we're not just doing a...
The plan is to put a lien on those properties for our portion. Now, when we get that, it could be, anyone's guess, but that's the plan.
Now, are these 66 single-family houses planning to be rebuilt, and they're just saying Township take it down, or these homeowners just walked away from these properties?
There's mostly properties that are actually unsafe structures that really need to be taken down, and we don't know if they're planning to rebuild, but that's going to be on them. So these are really structures that are structurally unsound.
So they then, if they're structurally unsound, then they've probably met that 50% ICC threshold, to which part of ICC and the amount of money that's given to ICC is also for demolition of the building if you're going to rebuild. So these homeowners are just deciding not to use any of that money towards that?
No, they have to use their insurance money first. These are going to be properties that didn't have flood insurance.
Oh, okay, that just answers that.
So these homeowners have either said to the township that they're not going to do it, or they've walked away and we're taking them down as a safety precaution.
It's a public safety issue.
But we've gotten responses from all.
Oh, yes. They all have to sign a right of entry agreement. They have them. I think we've got some back. I don't think we have all 6 of them back yet, but we should any day now.
Do we have is the committee going to be given those addresses of those locations, so we...
Sure. Yeah, I have them.
Do we have a discussion on the joint insurance fund renewal?
We're coming up to the time where we renew our agreement with the joint insurance fund. We're getting quotes now, so probably at the next meeting we'll have a recommendation. It's not too likely that we'll end up changing. There's not a lot of competition out there anymore for these sorts of insurance funds, and ours is a pretty well-run insurance fund, I think. So, but we are exploring the market to see what else is available. And just want to let you know we're in that process now. Probably next month we'll award.
Okay, and just one quick thing I wanted to add to the discussion. I'd asked Mr. Nelson to put together a resolution creating a historic preservation award that the Middletown Township Committee would be awarding to various projects, eligible projects in town. And what got me thinking about this was two in particular. The building right across the street, that 1820s former child care center, old age home, talk about both ends of the spectrum, and also the Rising Sun Tavern. They're 2 fantastic projects that where private developers came in and saved these historic structures. And I think it's good that we recognize them, recognize the effort and what it means to the town, that people know this. And it's a good thing for the town also, because it's an added assessment when these buildings are rehabbed and repopulated. So it's something that I think is good, especially with our 350th anniversary looming, to really call out these projects and encourage other people to do the same, whether it's developers, contractors, or individual property owners. So I'm going to take a stab at putting together some parameters, and we'll circulate a resolution, for adoption at the next regular meeting.
Okay, we have Township Committee comments.
Okay, Mr. Massala.
Just real briefly, just the new field on that swamp, I'm looking forward to that opening, very exciting. The kids can't wait to get on there and play. It's just looking forward to that on Friday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Senorino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I echo my colleagues' comments with regard to the Nut Swamp Field opening. When the committee embarked on this project, it was one turf field, and the opening was going to be for a turf and field, but there will be 2 fields at the time of dedication on Friday, which is fantastic, so we look forward to it as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. It's Tier.
Thank you, Mayor. The only comment I have this evening is, we've been working very hard internally on Middletown Day, which seems like yesterday. It's rapidly approaching again, and we will once again have a fantastic, even better Middletown Day in 2013 than we had in 2012 with the return of Middletown Day. I'm very excited about it. Everything's coming to place, as always, at no cost to the taxpayers. It'll be a fantastic day to celebrate our business community, local non-for-profits, schools, leagues, and just everything that's great. Looking forward to it, and I'll make those same comments again on September, whatever, 2 weeks from yesterday.
One more.
Oh, here we go.
Don't strike out.
Yeah.
Or hurt your head.
Or hurt my leg. I'm very glad that you're going to be putting together a resolution for that type of recognition. I think that when a developer or a builder goes in there and really tries to preserve the integrity of a historical building, that should be appreciated. And I know I definitely appreciate it. I know you do. I know the rest of us do. And that's very important. So I'm glad about that. And I'm also looking forward to Middletown Day. And I'm looking forward to the field on Friday, that ceremony. So thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, an award like that, you sort of lose track of how precious they are. They're not building anymore 19th century buildings, so everyone you lose to neglect or demolition or whatever it may be is really irreplaceable. So it's a good thing, and it's good for businesses too, I think, to have something to show for their work. It would help their business if they're an award-winning company for that type of work. So there's a lot of benefits all around.
One thing we might want to do in conjunction with that is include, at least in creating the ordinance, some recognition of some that have been done in prior years. Because there have been other, in the last 5 or 10 years, other historic buildings that have been renovated and restored by private investment, and at least recognize that they exist. We could come up with the addresses and locations and maybe some photos.
And we can make it where people can nominate, and we can review it. Almost like, compare, apples to oranges so much, but with Employee of the Month, where there's sort of a narrative written about a particular property, and why it's important, and what was done to it. And I think there's probably not too many. We could use some of the National Register criteria, the 50-year limit, and sort of model it after that. But we can really do it up nice, and thankfully we have so many of these buildings around that we're going to have an embarrassment of riches to choose from, I think.
Just to piggyback on that, sorry, Mayor, but I was in the Sunrise Tavern Friday. It's 99% done, and it is unbelievable. The historical integrity that the builder did, he kept everything, preserved it, upgraded it, right down to the studs, and it just is magnificent. I mean, it really is. And there are benefits, just to keep going with that, to preserving it in that historical way. I mean, tax benefits. So I think the idea will help promote that and encourage other folks to do the same.
Yeah, and it's good. I think when people get recognition, it sort of has a ripple effect on other developers, and maybe it's not such a thing, but when they see it done, nobody wants to be the first one in the water with these kind of things. But if they see a few examples, especially that one was in fairly rough shape, and he did a fantastic job.
I had 10 of
1684.
There were builders, I'm sure, who would want to knock that down.
Yeah.
And he did the right thing. Great job.
1684 when Frank Self was there. What else was I going to say? And as far as the fields go, I passed by the other day, and it looks like a showroom. It's fantastic. I'm really anxious to get there Friday. Hopefully, it's going to be beautiful weather too, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's really it should be a shout out to the Board of Ed and to the Township Committee for really doing what we're supposed to do. Is really work together, pool our resources, and give the residents the best bang for their buck. So this is really a win-win all around. And the fact that it's not costing the taxpayers any money, anything being covered with permit fees as it should be is really a plus. So it's something everybody can be very proud of, everybody can use, and it won't hurt the township going forward. And lastly, I don't know how many folks, I guess anybody who's gone to school or has kids go to the school knew Mr. Tony Falvo, who passed away last week, and I went to his wake earlier. And I knew Tony from the Middletown Drug and Alcohol Alliance. We served on together for many years. He was a great guy. I wouldn't recognize him if he wasn't smiling. And it's really sort of a shock, because he was one of those sort of very spry, healthy, older guys, and it sort of came out of left field. I still don't really know what happened, but the line was out the door, and it's really a testament to all of his former students coming, and
My principal.
at Fairview.
Elementary school, Ocean Avenue.
Okay. So, yeah, he's just a great guy, and he used to lead us in the pledge at the Drug and Alcohol Alliance meeting every month, and he'll be missed. We used to meet for breakfast before the meeting and pal around. My wife would say on a Saturday morning, "Where are you going so early?" "Well, I'm back in town." So now the cat's out of the bag. I went to meet Mr. Falvo and Mike Slover. And that's it. What's that? Oh, right, I'm sorry. God, I had that down too. Yes, 9/11 ceremony, next Wednesday. Is going to be at the moment of the first tower being hit, 8:46, I believe. We're going to have a silent vigil, much like we had last year. And the families really appreciated it last year. It was a beautiful day, and it was a beautiful ceremony. We had a moment of silence, then we invited everyone to walk through the memorial gardens, and it was just a perfect touch for sort of the off-year remembrances. And we really want to make sure that this is a staple in Middletown, and make sure it's done every year for all eternity. So we never forget those 37 folks who we lost, and there's 37 families who have kids who were probably now teenagers, who were toddlers at the time. And I know I have friends who I see as altar servers now with 6'4", and they were little kids running around church the 2 days before it happened. So you really opens up the old wound, but it's really something we have to do as a township. Thank you for reminding me.
We have public comments?
Okay, seeing no further. Oh, this one. Before we start, I just want to remind everybody, please, name and address, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes. That will be strictly enforced. And I have a panic button right here, which only goes to 5 seconds over.
Okay. Okay, Linda Baum, 19 May Court. And comments. First one is a question of whether or not a decision has been made as to where the municipal offices that were, various offices that were housed at Croydon Hall, like the Health Department, Social Services, Recreation, and Crossroads, where they're going now. Do we have a permanent location?
They're permanently located in the former Port Monmouth library.
All 4 of the ones that I just mentioned?
Yes.
All 4, and that's where they're...
Yes.
Okay. And what township offices are going to be moving over to the Lincroft, the old Lincroft Library, that building?
Well, the former Lincroft Library building is going, the Crossroads program is moving there, and it's going to be used as a neighborhood meeting space when meetings are needed in that part of the township.
Okay, I'm sorry, you had just mentioned that Crossroads, so Crossroads is moving there, because just a second ago you said it would, for its current location.
I didn't hear you say that. I didn't hear you say that at first.
Crossroads, okay, so Crossroads, when will they be moving?
Don't have an exact date yet. They're doing some interior work on the building right now.
Okay, so that's good job. Okay, something else that I wanted to bring up is a topic that I have been trying to get information on for a few weeks, actually since the beginning of August, and I've not been able to get any answers. So I wanted to recap my effort. This is in regard to the Middletown Disaster Relief Fund, which I'll refer to as the MDRF through this discussion. And I know it's
not
no.
a township
Okay.
entity.
Then you don't have to respond, but I can comment if I wish to. And I'm going to do that because I've been having a very difficult time getting information. There are 2 members of that board here tonight, along with the board's attorney. If Mr. Treseni was here, there would be 3 members of that board here
Yes,
tonight.
it's a volunteer board that I started as mayor last year.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
There is a portal on the website for the MDRF that says if you have any questions, send an email. So I did that. I got no response.
I didn't feel the need to respond to you.
I also left a
Questions,
message, all right, well, I also left a message with Maureen Raish and for Mr. Fiore, and she said she got that to you. I also got no response. And let me just back
Why
up
don't you
here.
ask your questions here? I'll be happy to answer them for you.
All right, well, here are the questions, Mr. Fiore. There were only just a couple. I wanted to know, first of all, did the MDRF file an IRS Form 990?
Yes.
It did. When?
Yes. I believe it was 60 days ago or something like that, we had to file for.
Look, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. The answer
Unless
is.
the board tells me I can comment on something.
I'm gonna answer and say yes.
And what is the fiscal year for the MDRF? Or is it a calendar year basis fiscal or odd fiscal year?
To the best of my knowledge, I believe it's calendar, but I'll have to get back to you. I can get back to you on that. Again, the fund was established in October of last year after the storm and has done a fantastic job trying to get money to help people rebuild, and has done that very effectively. That's the purpose of that work.
So, okay, the question was, what is the fiscal year?
I'm answering the
report? You don't
question. I
know.
said I believe it's
Okay.
calendar, and I will double check that for you.
Okay, so the
It's
calendar
great
year
that
that
you
was
want to make this a
filed?
political issue.
No, I'm not making, I'm just
No, you
asking
are.
some questions, sir.
a contribution?
All right.
Are you, the year that you filed for the Form 990 was?
Are you that's a good
2012
question. Are you planning on making a contribution to the charity?
I'm asking you some questions here. Can you respond to them?
I'm
And this
not-
actually has to do with
I
whether or
answered-
not
I
the
answered that it
documents
was,
are
I
public.
answered that it was a separate board. I answered that we filed the Form 990, and I will tell you that everything has been done above board. And we've raised a lot of money, about $750,000 to help Middletown residents rebuild. That's all I'm going to answer for you tonight. If you have any other
The
questions.
other question was
feel
who
free
has
to
the
come to the
authority
board.
to appoint the board? And this is actually important because it relates to whether or not your
I'm
material,
not
the
gonna
documents
answer any
are
more
public.
questions on a-
I think
on a
that's why you're not
private board.
answering. It's actually is an important question. No, I sent.
It's great that you're making a political issue
I'm not making a
out of
political
an
issue.
effort.
Simple, but yes, it's a
Charitable.
public charity, ma'am.
How many people are talking at the same time here?
Yeah, where's our director?
Point of order.
Wait,
Point of order.
you turned.
Point of order.
There's no point of order from the audience,
Well,
okay?
there's-
Unless you're a
there's
member of
three
the,
people talking
excuse
at
me,
the same
sir,
time.
unless the
Maybe-
mayor recognizes you to
Eric is
speak,
coming.
you can't speak. There's no legal obligation for anybody in this committee to answer your questions. You can make whatever comments you
but
want.
Two three people were talking
Susan,
at
I'm
once,
speaking
you can't
with
hear.
Two people are answering at the same time.
Don't make a
Ms. Baum can make
Take it up
whatever
to five- take it up
comments
to
she
5
wants.
minutes.
Ms. Baum, all I will
There's
tell.
no legal
all I
obligation
will
for
tell
anybody
you-
to answer her questions.
Robert's Rules of Order.
All I will tell you
Please enforce
is,
Robert's Rules of
all I
Order.
will tell you is, if you have additional questions for the MDRF, feel free. I think those were your three
Okay,
questions.
I did not actually finish my comments.
Feel
So I would
free to-
appreciate it
feel
if you
free
would
to-
allow me to
Excuse
finish.
me, feel free to email me, and if you want to feel free not to contribute to the MDRF, which you
I'm
never have,
considering
that's
making a
fine too.
contribution, sir, and
That's fine too.
I also have a few questions, and
That's
you know,
fine too.
We're gonna have to move on, the
most,
5 minutes are up.
most,
Mr. Schlegel, if you want to speak, the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Yeah,
She wants to speak.
Okay.
okay. Sitting here in this room reminds me.
Name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's me, Carolyn Schwabel, 79 Hamilton Avenue in Leonardo, New Jersey, 07737. And I'm saying, sitting here for these minutes reminds me fondly of my 20-plus years on the Middletown Human Rights Commission. And please hold your questions or answers till the end if you do have any, because my time is precious too. I have a question. Last year, you reappointed no one, so there were 2 members, great members, still on the Human Rights Commission, but I'm looking to see what's going to happen come December, which is rapidly approaching. It seems as though there may be a murder by attrition or something going on, but I do hope that you will think about giving the full component, and I brought my application for Heidi tonight because I'm willing to help it get going again. Number 2 is, there's, getting to be sort of a graffiti-loaded thing at the Italian Scallion, which used to be the place we used to like to go to. But now it's the Italian Scallion, closed down, decrepit, and they're leaving, this is the gateway to the shore, as you probably know. But there's been huge buses, like a Winnebago, being left there for sale, a truck for sale, and the latest thing, when we came tonight, it's a quality of life, if anyone can address it. They've got graffiti on the sign, like heavy black, handwritten stuff, and it doesn't look good for Middletown to come there. I hope that you can do something about that. And also, I knew Tony Falvo. He was my first boss. He hired me in Middletown, and I worked for him at 2 different schools on the child study team, and he was a great guy. He was Mr. School. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else care to speak? Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a few points on here.
Name and address, please.
John Schwabel, Hamilton Avenue, Leonardo. First of all, I think when people are giving their public comments, we should have more order in the discussion. That might be nice.
And Mr. Schwebel, I would also say that they should also be limited to township business and not private organizations.
I don't think there's any limit on the topic of public comments.
Then there
There's
should be a
actually
limit.
case law that establishes that.
There we go again, one at a time. Mrs. Schwebel, you have the floor.
Yes. Okay. Second of all, speaking about historic preservation, I was wondering if there's any plans for the old stone house on the Leonard property in Leonardo. I know that was cleaned up a couple of years ago, all the brush was taken away. Are there plans for
They spent money in it.
anything on that?
Not at the moment, we're looking at several options, and nothing set yet.
And also in Leonardo, the building that was constructed on Leonard Avenue across from the Quick Stop, I know that's for sale now, but a couple of items, that the front railings on the steps are not ADA compliant.
No, it's not. That's a private development.
Doesn't matter, it's enforced by the town.
I can just tell you that the railings are actually just vandalized, so they're going to be repaired, and they'll be compliant.
Good.
And actually, the building may be getting close to actually being done miraculously.
It's for sale, is it for sale?
It's been up for sale ever since the guy bought it, so. Meaning to Simon.
I hope it improves the neighborhood. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else care to speak? Seeing no further members of the public come forward, we could close the public portion and move for adjournment.
Second.
Committeeman Fiore.
Yes.
Committeeman Massell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Moore. Yes. Committeeman Sedambrino. Mayor Schaefer.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.